Welcome to the Perfectly Sane Show, episode 681. I am Chris, as always, joined by Tony.
Peace on earth, goodwill toward men, I guess. I don't know what's happening today.
Earl is he is out at trivia. He don't like us anymore. He'd rather play trivia. They've been good, evidently. So I guess if you're on a
Earl,
hot
get
streak,
worse at
stick with
trivia.
it.
That's what we really want. Let's be worse. Drink more before you go. It'll help.
And, but Jeff is here.
Hi guys.
And we're gonna talk about not E3. We're gonna get to that shortly, but before that, Tony, have you played anything this past week?
So I finished Fallout 4, as in I finished the main campaign. I don't think anyone ever finishes Fallout 4. I don't know. I kind of feel like in those games, like the main mission stuff ends up being less memorable.
It's always the side quests that are
the side quests always stick out because they have more character. The main mission is kind of something that has less of that to it. Like, so I ended up siding with the Minutemen and going into the Institute to blow it up. The one memorable moment of that entire process is like at the end where you need to go into your into Father's. He's not your father. You're the father. Into Father's chambers to get like a password to open a thing, so you can plant the bomb and destroy the whole place. And he's there in his little tube, dying of cancer. And he's like, "Fuck you! You're destroying my entire life's work. Fuck you!" And like just go. Like there's no like, it's kind of like
son.
Yeah. Did you not see him when you went in there? He's definitely in there. He's
I don't know that I did.
He's in this little thing. You could talk to him, and try to explain yourself, and he's just like, "Fuck off, get out of here." which is funny because I feel like a lot of games would have taken the like redemptive route. He's like, I could see why you're doing this, kind of like coming together type thing, and he's just like, "Get the fuck out of my place."
I don't know. I honestly, the only thing I remember is a synth of your son is like, "Please save me," and I was like,
"Yeah, you can opt to save him or not." I did save him. And he gives you like little quests once you're done. Like, can you go get me like a telephone so I can build this thing? Yeah.
So your son is aged because he gets out of the vault out of the cryotube before you.
Yeah.
But is he the bad
guy? So he is the head of the Institute, which are like the boogeymen for all of the other factions in the game. So yeah, he's kind of like the lead bad guy.
Okay.
But because of that twist, so I always like tried to avoid that twist when we were talking about the game. I guess it's out in the open now, but like,
I mean, it's a 10-year-old game, right?
Right.
But I will eventually get to it, Jeff. But I will probably forget this.
Yeah.
Okay. But because
also,
of that,
dies. I'm gonna throw that out right now. Sorry, everyone.
Go ahead, Jeff.
No, because of that, like you're tempted, or like naturally you're just kind of like the first time I played the game, I sided with the Institute because it's my son. You know what I mean? Like they're not bad, or whatever. Right. You know what I mean? It's hard to like even this time. I was like, when you first start negotiating with him and he tells you who he is and all this, I was just like, well, fuck you. Like he's like, and he tells you, he's like, well, if you leave here and you like side with the Minutemen or whatever, he's like, you're gonna be a natural enemy of us or whatever. And I was like, fuck you, dude. Which is like, it's weird, but I was playing as an asshole character, so.
I mean, that makes sense. Neat.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I think I'm done with the game now. Like, there's so much more to go and do, but like, I think I've put in like 4.5 days of real time into the game.
Yeah. It's a lot.
It's time to play other things.
Um, so Jeff, you played through most of New Vegas and 4. Tony, you just recently played through 4. Like, if somebody were like, "Hey, want to play some Fallout now?" Like, 4 is the way to go.
Absolutely. I think
I
like I
prefer it.
love New Vegas. I think that game was great back in the day, but like it's so old now. There are so many things that Fallout 4 fixes about it that you kind of ignore. It's just not a current gen game. Like it just feels so dated.
And Fallout
Jeff.
4, surprisingly, for being 10 years old, does not.
Yeah. I mean Fallout 4
Uh,
feels better than Starfield.
And I've always been a defender of Fallout 4, but playing them both back to back now, I'm just like, I'm really kind of confused, like why people did not like Fallout 4, because I think the story's pretty decent. Like it's a good Fallout game. It is like a good example of what those games are, just more modernized. There's things I don't like.
Yeah, I mean, like with every Bethesda game, there's going to be things that people
The building and stuff, I'm not a huge
preferences.
fan of.
I think that was such a big focus for people at the beginning, was like this building thing. It seemed like it was so integral to everything, and it was pretty buggy at launch. And we forget, like, it's been 10 years, like, between this and Starfield, or 9 years or whatever. Skyrim wasn't that far off from Fallout, though. So I do wonder if, like, we had Fallout 3, Skyrim, you had New Vegas thrown in there, even though it's not Bethesda, and Fallout 4 within a 10-year period.
Like a fatigue.
Yeah, it's been and there's not much. Bethesda has a formula, right? Like, they improve on it, but if you're playing that, it could feel very similar.
Yeah.
I wonder if maybe that had something to do with it. Is it took 10 years and people are now revisiting. Hey, like, they actually do make good games. Just we needed some time away from it.
Yeah.
You play anything else, Tony?
So I played one other game, and I think Earl talked about it last year. It just came to Game Pass on Xbox. Open up my Game Pass so I don't completely blow the name of it. 1 second. It's called Humanity.
Yeah, Jeff played it, and I actually played it. Last year on PlayStation when it came out.
Yeah.
And I think Jeff, you had played it last week, right, or the week before?
I scratched the surface. I played a few levels.
You touched it.
It's a neat idea. It's different kind of puzzle game, but
it was fun-ish. Like I stopped because I wasn't having like a great time. It's just like classic, like figuring out what the developer wanted you to do in the puzzle. I kind of hate that when it's like there's a lack of creativity in the puzzle solving. It's literally just, all right, let me figure out exactly what you wanted me to do.
Oh, I'm sure it gets. I'm sure it
eventually gets weird, but like,
complex at least. Maybe it's rigid in terms of the solution, but
each. I don't know if they're called chapters or whatever, but so there's like a set of puzzles that you do, and each one introduces a new mechanic, but it also like will build off of that. So by the time you're done, like level stage 10 or whatever, that side, like you're dealing with weaponry and people shooting your guys.
I saw there were achievements for like killing things.
Yes,
which I didn't quite get to that part of it.
Yeah, and that doesn't come in, like, you have to get through like half of the game before like you're really and it never moves off of the programming puzzle type. So like you're always gonna be programming, how your path works. But you'll get more different add-ons. So like you can get like the jump. I don't know if that was like the first thing you get. But you'll get a jump, you'll get a float, you'll get one where they can pick up weapons, one where they can defend behind a wall or whatever. So you'll get like different skills and stuff to utilize, and you can only use them so many times. I'm sure that there is like this is the developer way to do it, but there are different solutions because you can fuck up and only get like one of the things that you need to beat the level.
Yeah.
Instead of getting all of them.
I did that. I beat one level. I was like, oh, I didn't quite do it the right way because I'm missing one of the giant gold dudes.
It's neat. I thought about going back and playing it on Xbox, and it's like, I mean, I put like 8 hours, 10 hours into it the first time, and I platinumed it on PlayStation. I don't know if I'm ready for it yet.
I think it needs more personality. It could do with like, I don't know. It's just not very interesting in terms of like the world around the puzzles. Like it has
there's nothing.
There's definitely like a vibe that it's trying to convey, but I don't know. It would be nice if there was like a sense of humor or something to it, and there's just nothing like that.
Yeah, it takes itself pretty seriously. It's by the Tetris Effect guys. So it's the same team that made Tetris Effect. So they know how to make a stylish puzzle game. What was that, Jeff?
I just said I could totally see that.
Yeah.
That being the developer.
Jeff, you play anything this past week?
Let me tell you all about it. Same games I've been playing for fucking ever. Lot of Vampire Survivors. A lot of that. We're just going through the unlocks like one by one. Like, okay, let's get this, let's get that. I don't know. We cannot figure out like how to open up the final level because it says you have to get all the relics and So I don't know. I'm missing something, but I imagine if I keep picking through the list of things to unlock, I'll get there eventually.
I'll look it up for you because I did get the final level back when I played it. I don't remember what I did to do it.
Yeah, it says you need all the relics, and I'm like, every level that shows me it has a relic, I've gotten, and done some pretty hard like bosses and shit like that. I don't know. I don't know if I have to kill the Grim Reaper in every level and what the fuck.
I think you only have to like. There's an achievement tied to killing the Grim Reaper, but I think it's just a
we've been doing that.
Yeah, I think you just got to do it once.
But we've been doing it. We've been doing that in every level. Like we've just been like, we're having fun with it, so it's fine. It's whatever. Like we keep finding stuff to do. I keep unlocking characters. I don't think I have any levels left to get, except I guess that final level.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the game has been a lot of playtime. And Elden Ring, nothing really to say about it. It's obviously the DLC's coming out next week.
Yeah, you started a new character.
I've been trying to get into the rhythm of things, and I thought I kind of like tapped out what to do, like with my advanced character. There's really not much left to do. So I was like, so I can play the early areas, and I don't know, just to look at things fresh again. Because like when you play through New Game Plus, like say you beat the game and you do start New Game Plus, you could fly through the game, like everything's really easy. But when you start a character from scratch, it like gives me a for how like daunting the early parts of that game can be. Because there's things that like I could just plow through with all my other characters, and now I'm like, holy shit, yeah, it's been a while since I felt this type of challenge. So yeah, I just kind of just getting back into the rhythm of things with that game before the DLC launches.
And like the DLC has like to access it, there's like it's like weird requirements, right? Like you have to beat 2 bosses, but they're not bosses that I guess one of them is not a boss you have to beat in the main game.
Yeah, I don't know what 2 bosses. I know where you need to get, and to get where you need to get is one. It's like a hidden area.
It's Mog. You have to beat Mog.
Yeah,
is that one? And there's another guy too.
As far as I know, it's Mog, but he's the one that guards the access. Like there's like this thing you'll interact with to enter the DLC. Hidden area. You can get to it early on. Like I've gotten to it with my new character. But he's also like a very, very difficult boss. So I saw a thing on Twitter, I think today, that was like 62% of players have not beaten this boss. So I think some people are gonna be buying the DLC being like, oh shit. He's tough too. Like he will like halfway through the fight do this attack where he like drastically takes out your life bar and refills his.
It's fucking annoying.
Yeah,
in
it's
any
tough.
game.
Like, yeah. You can negate him like taking out your life bar if you have this certain bubble tier equipped. But in order to get that, you have to like maybe that's what someone was saying, like, oh, you have to beat this other boss or whatever to get that.
Well, these Polygon saying that you need to beat Star Scourge Radon and Mog Lord of Blood to access the
I don't
the
know
DLC.
why you would. I don't know why you would need to beat Star Scourge Radon. That makes no sense to me. Maybe it's just they say that you have to. That's the only reason why, because you don't need to beat Star Scourge Radon to get to where the gate is. You need to beat Mog because the gate is in his arena. So it's like you have to beat him
because you need him gone.
Yeah, but that's weird. I mean, Star Scourge Radon is not super late game. He's like, well, the first time you play the game, you would think Star Scourge Radon is the end of the game because it's such an epic, crazy battle. It's like the coolest. I think I've told you guys about it before. It's like everyone you've met in the game, you can start summoning them, and it's like fought in this giant desert, and it just feels epic. It feels like this is a final boss, but it's only like a third of the way through the game. I've not beat him with my new character. I don't think I'm using my new character to go into the DLC, at least not right away. But
yeah, roughly 50% of people got through Radon, but yeah, it's a Mog, I guess, is the one where less people have gone.
I'm honestly surprised because when I saw it, I said, "Oh, 62% of players have not." That means that math. 38% of players have beaten Mog. That honestly is kind of surprising to me because he's so. I didn't think most players got that deep into the game to fight Mog, but yeah, so people are gonna like be in for a surprise because he's not easy. And like even most people, I've fought this boss a million times with other people, and most other people when they fight him, like I don't know how they get through it because they don't have the thing equipped that I have that protects me from getting hurt by him. Like people just go in and wing it. I'm like halfway through the fight, he's taking out most of your health bar. But yeah, good luck to everyone. I'm happy I don't have to worry about him really.
Yeah, is Mog, is he the guy that like can inflict the blood like bleed effects on you or something like that?
Blood loss.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Not cool.
Just a massive chunk of your health comes off when he does that to you. But you can do it to him.
Mm-hmm.
At least I do. I think I heard that they adjusted him that he's not as susceptible to bleed anymore. But early on, that was part of how I would beat him. Like I would help people because I had the thing to protect me from him, and I had spells and shit that were like very damaging against him. So, but yeah, in most cases and in most builds, you're gonna walk in there and be like, "This guy sucks."
When is that DLC?
I think
it's next week,
Friday. I think so.
21st, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's pretty new. Pretty soon, I guess. Yeah, it's like you've been looking for stuff to play, and it's like I like. It's like I don't want to recommend anything to you because like I don't want you jumping into like a 30 or 50 hour game a week before, and then you're like, I'm leaving for Elden Ring.
I
Goodbye,
haven't
guys.
finished this
Oh,
game, and I'm going to spend the next 200 hours of my gaming life playing more Elden Ring.
Right. It's like,
yes, yes.
yeah. It's like
I did start Mad Max.
yeah. So you're gonna drop that. Absolutely. Like you're,
Maybe you'll
but-
finish it by the time Elden Ring comes
No,
out.
no. I played Mad Max and I was so bored. I was like, I
Oh,
could just be
no.
playing Elden Ring. It's not like it's bad or anything, but I'm just sitting there going, you're doing the early game stuff where it's like setting up how you do this and that and fucking whatnot. And I was just like, you know what? This doesn't seem terrible, but I could be playing Elden Ring. I'd already had a taste of Elden Ring, so I was like back in that mode. But like, I will say this about Mad Max: weird control scheme. What the fuck is that? Very bizarre, dude.
What do you think is weird about it?
I think, for instance, sprinting is the right trigger, and to shoot is the B button. That's like,
yes,
what?
but I think that's because it's so melee focused. So it has
I kind of figured that
it has the Batman. Like you never get more than I maxed out. So I beat Mad Max today, and I had maxed out like all of Max's gear and stuff. And his ammo belt never becomes more than I think 11 shotgun shells, which is like 4 in the shotgun and then an additional 7. So you don't have ammo, and like you're never like if you use it in battle, like you may not fill it for the next like 10, 15, 20 minutes until you find an ammo. Like it's the thing about everything in this game, anything you use is like you're using it and you may not get it back very soon. So you're trying to conserve your resources. So you want to get good at the Batman style combat, which isn't very difficult. Like, it's press Y to parry.
Basic, yeah.
Yeah. And like he has a light attack and a heavy attack. And but yeah, you're never going to have much. But I think it's more the gun is just when you're in combat, like you use it to you can slow down time by pressing, I think it's like the left bumper, which will pull out the gun and it slows things down, or you can do like a quick shot by pressing B. So yeah, it's I could see where you'd be like, this is weird.
Dude, that was very weird. But I was like, this is probably not like a shooting game, really. It's
no.
More, I did right away make that connection to Batman playing the combat. But yeah, it just all around, it's like, it seems fine. It seems okay.
Yep, it's a 7 out of 10.
I'm in love with it. Yeah.
Yeah, I beat it. And like it's a, I guess it could even be an Avalanche open world because they do the Just Cause games. But their style of open world game is very much similar to Ubisoft, where it's like, here's a bunch of shit to do on the map and like go do this. And there's these zones in Mad Max, and like each zone has different objectives to do. Like there's a balloon. If you get to the balloon, that's like your high point in Assassin's Creed that'll reveal the map. And you can find the different things to do. And then they all have different activities to do. There's camps, which can have like a big boss at the end of them. Or sometimes it's like you need to destroy stuff in the camp so you can take it over. There are these, they call them scarecrows. It's just these big metal towers that you can rip down. There's snipers that you need to eliminate. And then there is convoys, that's a vehicle attack. So you're attacking. You want to take the lead convoy person out and take out the Lord Scrotus. That's the big bad guy's name. You want to take his convoys out and get their hood ornaments. And then I think there's also minefields that you can clear. Like, so each area has like a bunch of them to do. It doesn't really change up much. But if you're just looking for like a mindless open world game to tool around in, it can be kind of fun. And the story missions are pretty decent. They get you go to some pretty cool places. Like if you're out there in the world just now, Jeff, it's like it all looks the same. Like nothing's very like
Yeah, I mean,
interesting.
but yeah,
But like you will go like some cool. Like you'll go to an airport that is buried. So um, you're gonna go through like a sand dune into the airport that's underground now because it's been covered by sand. So you're driving through an airport terminal with your car. It's pretty cool. There's some neat locations you'll visit and interesting missions. It's supposedly they worked with George Miller before Fury Road came out and got like that's where like the War Boys get mentioned and the war parties
yeah.
get. Go ahead.
You could tell that, like, yeah, like it is in the Fury Road Furiosa universe, and that like they cared about the character and all that stuff, and everything like gets mentioned is stuff that like you'll know from those movies, like Gastown, like they mentioned Gastown right away in the first hour. It's like, oh, cool.
Yeah, you'll go to Gastown in this. Like they'll mention the Bullet Farm.
Yeah.
I don't think they mentioned the Citadel, but they mentioned the organic mechanic. Who's he's just the doctor, but it's the guy that drains the blood of the not like up the snuff war boys. At the beginning of Mad Max, you see like Max hooked up to like the IVs, getting his blood drained. So that's the organic mechanic. So he gets mentioned. It's neat. It's a neat world. They have a callback to Beyond Thunderdome at one point in the game. So like they clearly love the series. It's just it's a 7 out of 10 game to play. Find to waste some time in.
Yeah.
That's it.
I mean, it was $5, so and maybe one day I'll play it. So
Yeah, and that's what I paid it for, $5, and I ended up spending like 30 hours playing it. So
yeah.
I got my money's worth out of it, I think. But I wouldn't recommend jumping into it and like, playing it if you're going to be jumping into something you're going to spend 50, 100, 150 hours in a week. Because you're going to jump off of it and then be like, yeah, that was fun for the 5 minutes I played it, but I'm not going to go back. And that's it. That's all I played this week. But that's mostly because watched a lot of game reveals. I think we all did to some extent. Because Summer Game Fest happened. So we'll jump into it. Did you guys catch the official Summer Game Fest hosted by Jeff Keighley on Friday last week?
I watched all the appropriate trailers because I cannot stand watching Jeff Keighley speak.
I went to a movie while that was going on, and I came back, and Earl had already had a link for us in Discord with all the reveals. So I'll run down here from the link he gave us.
Before you get into that, my favorite tweet was one of Keeley's, because he put out like a poll asking how people felt about his show and how people felt about the Xbox show, and everybody hated his show. Like in his own tweet, like they all voted against him.
And that's fair. I think that's the shit that like you should throw it back at him. Like, hey, like what you're doing isn't.
Why would he ask that?
Yeah, I don't know.
So stupid. Obviously, your show was not as good.
Yeah, Xbox. We will get to Xbox shortly, but they definitely brought it. And Keighley was out there before his show. It was like, hey, we're gonna have a lot of games you already know about. Not a lot of big new stuff. Like his thing was never gonna be better in any way. Especially when Sony had already had their thing. Xbox was having theirs on Sunday, and Ubisoft had theirs on Monday. Like, they're not in conjunction, so he was never going to get the big reveals from those showcases. All right. So from this list here, Lego Horizon Adventures
That looks like fun. I love Lego games.
Yeah.
It's been so long since they've had one, which I think is good because they made too many before. I think the fatigue is broken up, and now people are interested in playing one again. I know I am, and that one looks pretty fun. So give that to me.
Yeah. And I guess the big thing out of this is that it is not just launching on PlayStation, which makes sense. Horizon is a PlayStation franchise, but it's launching on Switch and PC at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a multi-platform game out of the box.
Yeah. Which, I mean, Horizon is also on PC. I can't imagine
It is now,
it'd be
yeah.
like on
Both
Switch.
those are there. Yeah, I mean, maybe I don't even think it could run the first one.
No. That game is graphically intense and beautiful, and don't ruin it by putting it on the Switch.
They showed Star Wars Outlaws, but I mean, we'll get back to Outlaws because that was at the Ubisoft show, and they showed a lot more of it there.
Yeah.
Civ 7 was announced. I don't think there was a date, just that's coming next year, so not this year. I'm trying to think, like, I'm like looking at this list here, and it's not great. It wasn't a great show.
No.
I mean, I didn't watch it, but nothing stood out to me. It felt like it didn't even happen. I was like, oh, did that happen?
It was
today?
nice to see a new Monster Hunter trailer, I guess. Good.
Yeah, Monster Hunters, like, we're gonna put our thing in every showcase.
Yeah. We're just gonna end up like use everybody as a marketing piece, but like that's not a new game. We knew that game was coming. We also know it's not coming this year. We know it's coming next year.
Right.
So
Alan Wake 2 DLC was shown, and I guess it launched that same day. Or it launched the next day. It launched on Saturday. Weird launch day. But like, everyone knew that there was DLC coming for Alan Wake 2, so wasn't really a surprise. Valorant's coming to consoles, if you cared about that. And yeah, that's about it.
like I think I made fun of him. I should say I was gonna say we made fun of him, but it was me making fun of him the week before about how he talked about his show wasn't going to have that much content. Like I guess we're gonna focus on games that are already out, and like, and that's kind of like what we got was like nothing new, nothing we didn't know about, nothing really cool.
Yeah, which as a I guess it's hard because, you know, at Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo, Ubisoft, EA, any of like the big publishers, they can have their own thing. They don't
Yeah.
need him to show off their shit. So
Microsoft definitely didn't need him, and he was pissed about it.
so yeah, that was Summer Game Fest. But then Sunday was the Xbox Game Showcase, and this was kind of fun, I thought.
It was. They showed off games. They showed off games that are coming out this year that we'll get to play very soon.
Yeah, at least four, 5. No, they didn't show off Aura. They showed that
They
off
did
earlier
not
in
mention
the year.
Ara on the show, but they had like a separate strategy game showcase with Ara and Age of Mythology later on, where they gave like release dates and like
Yep.
showed them off more. So
six games then that are coming for the fall.
yeah.
Aura, which we just talked about, Age of Mythology, which Tony just mentioned.
But both September, which is nice.
Yep. One at the beginning of the month, one at the end. Age of Mythology, I thought looked really cool.
That game looks great. I never played the original. I don't think you did either.
No, that game was giving me like Warcraft 3 vibes. Like,
Yeah.
like looked really neat. And I'm still not sure about Aura, but those look like, I think both of those will be fun
Ara
strategy
will
games.
scratch the itch for folks who saw that Civ 7 announcement and then saw that it was 2025. You're looking for that 4X game there. All right, History Untold. You're good.
Yep, you're good for until Civ 7 comes out sometime in
Yeah.
2025. So those two, Flight Sim 2024. That's 3 of their 6. And then the other ones were Call of Duty Black Ops 6, which kicked off the showcase. It's weird saying that's a Microsoft game, but it is.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely is their game. And then Avowed and what's the other one? Why am I drawing a blank on the other game that is coming this fall? There's another one, right? Avowed. Jeff, help me out.
Yeah. There's one more. Why am I not? Let me
One more
look at my
what?
list.
One more game.
One
There's
more
two
Microsoft game.
big Microsoft games coming to Xbox this year. Avowed's
Why am I
one of
drawing
them. It's like it's
The other
We're all
one
disappeared.
old.
doesn't
Why
have
are
a
we so
date.
old?
They both didn't have dates.
The other one's even bigger than Avowed, I think. Or maybe not.
Oh,
Like,
Indy.
'cause-
Indiana Jones.
Indiana
Jesus
Jones.
Christ.
Okay, Avowed is the one I care about more, probably. But yeah, that's a big, huge game, right? Like,
Yeah, Indy is a huge. I mean, I don't know how big the game, but I mean, like the franchise itself it's a huge known IP. That should be a big game for them. And yeah, that was the thing. I think all of us talked about in the group chat was they showed these trailers and we're like,
Where are the dates?
coming 2024. It's like we're
so
halfway
weird.
through, man.
I just it's hard for me to believe that you can announce a game that's coming out in 2024 in June and not tell me what day. How do you not know? This game is like not just it's like 3 months away from launch. Like this game needs to be
Right.
finished 3 months from now. You don't know that it's being finished in 3 months? Like how can you tell me it's coming out this year then?
And you're not going to pit it up against Call of Duty.
No.
So like you need space on either side of Call of Duty to release something.
Yep.
It's neither of those games is competing with the strategy games or Flight
No.
Sim.
No.
So you have September and like early October. But otherwise, then you're moving into December, and you're not going to launch both those games back to back.
Yeah,
Like
it wouldn't shock me if one of those games or both shifted to next year.
Yeah, and I think that's what you were saying, Jeff, during the showcase. There's no way that both of these are going to make it.
No.
if you're not committing to the date, that means like you don't think it's coming, right? There was a weird thing where briefly there was a date listed for Avowed, like November 12th or something.
Something like that, yeah.
They took
If
it
you
away
give me
right
one
away,
of those
so it's
games this year, please give me Avowed. I want Avowed. But
yeah, I personally want Avowed. Indie, I'll play for sure. Like but,
yeah, I'll play it,
Avowed,
but especially for free. Like, give me these games on Game Pass. Certainly, I'll play all of them.
That's their 2024 lineup, and then they talked a lot about 2025. We got a lot that they kind of revealed for that. Doom: The Dark Ages. That looks crazy.
It's like
absolutely goofy.
It's kind of like Doom mixed with like fantasy, like I don't know, dude. There's fucking guns that crush fucking skulls. Looks wild. I mean, it looks like Doom, but just a little like, hey, a little bit of a setting change, and
yeah,
it
looks fun. So you got that. You also have, I thought it was only called Expedition 33, which I think is a much better name than what its real name is, which is Claire Obscure Expedition 33. That was a
terrible name.
Yeah.
Really cool looking game.
Yeah, it's a turn-based RPG. I think you said it looked like Final Fantasy crossed with Elden Ring.
Yeah, I was just like, well, Elden Ring turn-based combat,
Yeah.
Like it has that kind of style of Elden Ring, like artist, the art and stuff.
Yep.
But like it's very clear from the trailer it was turn based, and I was like, "Fuck yeah, dude!" Like, I guess I don't really play a lot of like Final Fantasy, so I don't get a lot of stuff like that. But like I love a good turn based game. They're usually like 2D, and
This looks great. They showed Fable again. This time with. Here's another thing I had a problem with the Xbox showcase is like not a lot of gameplay shown. Doom had gameplay, but like Fable, like I guess there was gameplay, but
it was a little bit, yeah.
It was like very minimal.
Yeah.
And that was like with a lot of their stuff, like even indie, like there wasn't a lot of gameplay shown. It was a cutscene, like
yeah.
It's interesting. Like coming out of the show, the initial reaction from everyone was like, "That was their best showcase ever." But when you like stop and think for a minute, it's like they kind of did what they always do, which is smoke and mirrors. It was all smoke and mirrors. It's like,
they showed a lot of cool trailers that were like cinematics, like
and even I saw people speculating this, and I don't know if it was confirmed or not or what, but like that Perfect Dark one had a lot of gameplay, but I saw people speculating that it was all utterly fake. Like this is just something that they made for the show, and who knows?
That could be because they didn't even give a year. Like they weren't like, hey, this is coming 2025 or 2026. They showed off a really cool gameplay trailer, but nothing attached to it.
Yeah, but I just saw people who are know more about game developing than me. They're like, yeah, that was so clearly just like faked. Like it wasn't like none of it was like actual like from a game that's coming out. Like it's just fucking total horse shit that they came up with. Now, I bought it, and that game looked pretty. Like I actually think I think you said like a couple last week or week before, like just do like Perfect Dark. It should be easy. It was like I honestly was like thinking about it. I was like, I don't know what you would want out of Perfect Dark because like the original game is so old now. It's such a different era of shooter. I couldn't even imagine what they could do to make it look good. And it looks like if they deliver on what was shown in this trailer, it's like it kind of stays true to what Perfect Dark is, and it looked cool. It looked fun. Like you're using gadgets, you're seeing through walls. Like
it's the evolution of that James Bond type spy game.
Yep.
And to be fair, like that genre advanced after Perfect Dark with like the EA Bond games. I think there was maybe an Activision Bond game somewhere where like it has advanced some, but they've picked up like this one looked cool. It looked like a combination of that type of style of gameplay with the gadgets and shit, and then like Mirror's Edge type movement.
Oh yeah, the little parkour and stuff. Yeah.
So that looked cool. But again, no date on that one. There was a year put on South of Midnight, which they showed a lot of gameplay on that. Again, could all be smoke and mirrors, Jeff, but that looked kind of cool. That's looks like an action adventure game in the bayou with a big alligator. Looks like there's some personality behind that game. I don't know how great it's going to play, but if it's an action platforming type game, I'm probably in for it. Let's see, what else did they showed off Assassin's Creed, which is this year. They showed off lots of DLC for their games: Diablo 4, Starfield, Fallout 76.
Starfield DLC is already getting backlash too. It's great.
Yeah, so that was the like so that they did two things, right? Like right after, not right after, but sometime after the showcase, they put a big content drop and introduced mods, and like that's what people are pissed about. I think, Tony.
Because you have to like it's so the issue with Starfield is that like it gives you this expansive universe that is completely lacking in character and stuff. And a lot of these mods add things to that universe to make it more interesting.
Yep.
But you have to pay for it.
Yeah.
Like,
and I think the big one is the mission, right? There's a new
you get one
Bethesda mission. It's $7 or something like that.
Yeah.
Which,
insane.
to be fair, as somebody who only played it via Game Pass,
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind spending
Right.
$7
I
on something.
paid $0 for this game so far.
Right. But if you paid $60-$70 for it, $7 for one missions, it's not great. And I heard it's a pretty good mission too, so that's kind of shitty.
Maybe I'll wait for it to go on sale. I'm not paying $7 for one mission.
And they will. Like if you've I've jumped into Fallout 76 every once in a while, and they have sales on there all the time. So and let's see. Jeff is restarting his computer. I think.
I'll be right back. But go ahead.
So I'll wait to talk about Gears when you get back on. Was there anything else that jumped out at you, Tony?
Well, I mean, there were also the new consoles, which were like they announced a digital only version of the X.
Yep.
For $400, which I thought was a pretty good price. And of course, the one that catches my eye is the 2 terabyte X, which I mean, when they launched the console originally, like 1 terabyte seemed like a lot, and it's clearly not enough now with games being the size that they are. So I'm sort of looking at that, but it's kind of weird to like upgrade my console just for a terabyte of storage. Like, is there anything else? Like, I'm begging for more information on like, are the specs better? Is the card inside slightly better? Like, give me something. Give me some reason to buy this, because it's like $550 for the I can't even remember what they called it, but the super deluxe awesome version.
Yeah, it's like the Starlight or something like that. Special edition Series X.
Like I always end up buying whatever the most expensive version of the Xbox is every single time. This time I'm just like, I'm not gonna get that for just storage. Like there's got to be some other reason why I would do that.
Yeah, because you can buy one of those. I think you can buy a 2 terabyte card. In fact, the ones that plug into the back that are the SSDs.
And I have a 1 terabyte card already. So like I already have a 2 terabyte Xbox. So it's like, what other reason are you going to give me to give you another $550? It's like, it's not that I won't do it. Just give me a little nudge.
Yeah, it's like can you say that like, hey, maybe the disk drive works a little better, or there's like efficiencies. Like we know it's not going to play things better. Like the what was the 1X? Like
Yes,
that was clearly
that was definitely
system.
an upgrade. That was a good thing to have. Like it was definitely a better console.
But did they like improve your chipset so that it like runs more efficiently or runs cooler? Like what have you done other than like just added a 2 terabyte drive to it?
Yeah, I need more than that. I need something else. If I weren't already in the ecosystem, that would be the version I would get. But I'm already here.
Yeah,
an excuse.
I'm right there with you. I was like, this seems cool. Like, I should get this one, and I was like, do I really need? Like, yeah, I could put the one I have now up into the den, and like the kids could use that as like every once in a while they want to watch like a DVD or a Blu-ray or something, instead of me getting out the Xbox One.
Yeah.
For them, because the Series S doesn't have a drive. But like $500 for them to have a Blu-ray player, it seems smart on my end.
That's my thing too. So my ex and I live across the street from each other, and she has my old consoles because she won't buy them new consoles. So my kids went over there are playing with a on an Xbox One X, and they're always complaining about it. They're like, the load times are so long, and why is it? We want a new console. So I would love to like upgrade my console and give them the one I currently use. Like that would be great. I would do that for them, obviously, but I need a reason. Give me a reason to do it.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. And they weren't gonna have to give me much of a reason to jump on board the thing that we kind of speculated about last week, and they did not show up. The handheld, yeah. That was disappointing.
I was very surprised because even after their show, Spencer was still talking about the handheld. Like, is he just blowing smoke up our asses? Like, what is he doing?
Right. Like, is it coming? Like, you just didn't want to announce it there because you didn't want to spend. You need to spend more time. Like, the hardware got a minute tops.
Right.
Like, you know, and
like,
if you're going to show the
so
hardware
far out, maybe like, is it like we can't sell them until next fall, and we wanted to make sure that you were buying these and not like, okay, that makes sense to me.
Right.
Damn, stop talking about it then.
And it's that, like, is it like speculation is that Xbox may go first in, you know, into their next gen, and like is their next gen this handheld hybrid type thing? Like
that would be cool.
Dude, you all had me so convinced about the fucking handheld thing being real that I let myself get excited about it.
Yeah, me too.
And when they're doing this part at the end, like she even has a line where she was like, "And we want you to be able to play anywhere." And I was like, "Here it comes!" And it was just like these fucking re-release consoles. More, what was it? More fucking space. Like
that's what we were just talking about. We're like, we need more than space.
Like, it's just. I wasn't expecting like the next gen thing. I mean, I guess like you're saying, like it could be that is the next gen thing, but I was just like, I was so sure that because the way like she was saying stuff, I was like, yeah, play it anywhere. I could play it on this little fucking pad you're gonna give me. And no, god damn it, why did I let myself believe this shit? I mean, maybe there's you know merit to it. Maybe it is real, but.
Yeah, there's way too much smoke for there not to be a fire somewhere about this. Like as Tony said, Spencer was out there that day or the next day talking about a handheld. Like,
yeah, there's something somewhere. Like it's going to be. It's just like, okay, well, give us something. Like give us something real, or just shut up about it.
Just imagine you're having your whole Xbox available like that. Like, man,
it would be awesome. Like,
yeah,
and like that's what I think. Like when we talked about this last week, that's what it needs to be. It needs to be the system that you can like download your Xbox games to, not just your, you know, your PC Xbox games or have to play by cloud. Like I want to be able to download everything I can play on my Series X right now onto a handheld. That's what that machine needs.
That's what it needs to be. Yeah. Also, I don't know if you guys agree or what, but I feel like these consoles, the ones that they like did actually reveal, were a little too much. Like maybe it's time to lower the price a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's where Tony and I are like, there needs to be a little bit more behind these to get us to buy on, because
it's not new tech anymore.
Right. Like even the littlest thing I think would get Tony and I to splurge for them, but like there's nothing outside of that extra storage, which you can
would be nice.
Buy the card.
Yeah,
yeah, especially if you know, you install all of Call of Duty and it's 330 gigabytes. They did clarify that that is Black Ops 6. Modern Warfare 3, Modern Warfare 2, multiplayer, Warzone, and zombies. So like it would be everything installed to get to that level. But 300 gigs that's basically the size of the Series S. Like, you might have a little bit more room, but with the operating system, that thing's not super big. Two other games. They showed a little bit of gameplay from Stalker 2. That one I was just a little bit shocked by. So this has been a game they've been hyping up for quite some time, and I didn't think it looked great. It just kind of looked like a Metro game, but like the first Metro game. So like the visuals just didn't look great. The animations didn't look great. I'm sure exploring that world is going to be cool, but it looked like maybe it was 10 years old. And the final thing they showed was Gears of War E-Day. It's a prequel set on the day the Locust emerged. It was fully cinematic, so no other details.
Wait, was it CG?
Jesus Christ. So yeah, it was CG. Everything we saw during the showcase was CG because CG.
In fact, every game we play is CG as we are playing it.
It's not a movie.
It's not a movie. Anything that is computer generated is CG and or CGI, computer generated imagery. In terms of trailers, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong here, but we have used the term CG, or I have at least used the term CG to indicate a cinematic trailer.
Yeah, cutscenes.
There's a gap between what is in this trailer and the assets used to make actual gameplay. The game I always think back to like CG trailers being awful is Too Human, which showed like a really fantastic looking CG trailer a couple of years before it released.
Deep pull, man.
Too Human. The trailer looks fantastic, and I suggest if you like look up this trailer, it's like one of the most awesome trailers you'll ever see. Like, this game's going to be fantastic, except the trailer was not created with any in-game assets because none of them existed yet. They just made up this concept, and I think normally when people say that a trailer is CG, that's what they imply, is that like what's in this trailer is not anything from the game engine. It's just developed to show off a concept that may look good. Which is kind of why what Keeley said was dickish. So in his tweet, when he says this trailer is just CG, or I don't think he said just CG.
He said, I'm paraphrasing here, but he's like, Microsoft showed off the great CG trailer for the new Gears of War.
Yeah. Yes. Which,
and he got the company that did it right, which is Blur. And Blur is known for doing exactly what he said they did.
Absolutely. But like the implication when you say CG is that this trailer is created without using in-game assets. And like that's where it gets kind of hairy because it was apparently.
Sure. I can guarantee you the
it was in-game assets, or was it not in?
They were. It was the Dom.
Usually,
Dom Marcus and Locust character models.
Usually, trailers, even when they're like, basically cutscenes, they will say using in-game blah 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 at the bottom. You know?
Yeah, and they didn't say that here. I don't think that was on the trailer when they showed it at the show.
Yeah, I can't say that I noticed it, but I always think of it in the more incorrect term, or like broader, or just I was thinking of it as it didn't show me gameplay; it's showing me fucking cutscenes that I don't give a fuck about.
Yeah, because like Gears is, I love Gears. It's not gonna play like that cinematic trailer.
No,
Gears is gonna play like Gears, and it's gonna look great because Gears always looks great. But you're not gonna be playing with these like supersized models unless they're completely fucking changing the way Gears is played, and they're not. This is the seventh shooter version in this series. I don't know. I I don't like Jeff Keighley. I think this is like the weirdest thing to go
Right.
after him on.
Why? There's so many other things to make fun of him for.
And so many like legitimate like your show sucked, man.
Yeah,
Like
your show was bad. No one wanted to watch it. Nobody wants to hear you talk ever. But yeah, so to latch onto that particular thing is kind of odd. Now, on the other hand, like people latch onto that particular thing because they don't like Jeff Keighley and they're looking for more reasons to not like him. So
so that was Xbox. I liked it. I didn't love it, and mostly because like a lot of it was that it was just those cinematic trailers, and there were no firm dates.
Yeah,
there's a lot of cool stuff coming though.
Yeah. We got more firm dates from Xbox after the show, and it's like, why do that? Why?
Yeah, that's weird.
Just announce them during the show if you have them. You
Um,
had a date for Age of Mythology. Why didn't you just say it?
Yeah, you had a trailer. Just throw it at the end that it's coming September 4th. What were you gonna say, Jeff?
yeah, a lot of stuff that looked cool. Like in the moment, watching the show, I just kept like in the group chat being like, cool, yeah, dude, fuck yeah. But then like you just step back from it and be like, yeah, here's the concrete things we can point to. And I guess I skipped over, didn't really talk about it all. Like I honestly think Call of Duty looks great. Like I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
What was your guys like game of show? Like what was like? Maybe not just Xbox, but just overall of this amazing E3 week.
Well, okay. Well, my game for the entire thing was Star Wars Outlaws.
Okay,
looks pretty cool, and that game is soon too.
Yeah, it's my birthday, August 30th. So I'm like, yep, I'm gonna have a fun weekend that weekend. So.
I did not see that one, so I can't speak to it. I didn't watch. What was it on the game?
It was on the Ubisoft.
Yeah.
Tony.
Oh, I don't know. There were a number of games that I was interested in. Avowed looks really good. I'm very excited for that.
I've been all about Avowed the whole time. I'm excited.
Looks much better than it showed. What, like in January or
yeah,
I think it was like January. Looks like the combat seems weighty now. Like
some platforming and shit going on.
Yeah, it looks fun. What about you, Jeff?
Expeditions 33.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, dude, that looks sick. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Sometime next year. So, but yeah, that game looks cool. Awful name, but
yeah. Avowed is close though. Like, but Avowed, like, I feel like I've seen it. Like, yeah, it looks better, but like, I just want to play it now. Like, I've been aware of this game forever. Like, just fucking let me play it.
You mentioned Call of Duty, Black Ops 6. They had the showcase we talked about last week, and it was pretty much exactly what I was the entire time I'm watching it, Tony. I was like, who is this for? Like,
I think there's people that are like big Call of Duty heads will get some out of it. Like the they're talking about how they redid the Prestige system. I think there's people that like, like that's cool. But again, yeah, it's just such a known factor for what Call of Duty is. It just looks like this is a good one, so I watched it too.
Yeah, I just turned it off. I'm like, oh, okay, we're on the Call of Duty part. I know what this is. So goodbye, show.
Campaign looks fun. Like
it's
an actual sequel to Cold War,
which is, in my opinion, like a really awesome campaign. Like they did a lot of varied shit. Like there would be like spy levels and shit, and like that looks like they're doing it again here. Like even more. Like they're just like every level we want to be memorable. I was like, it's all like bullshit corporate.
shit,
but,
I mean, it's like
cool.
It's like Mission Impossible, the video game. You know, if there was like a little bit more shooting in Mission Impossible.
Mhm.
It's like that type of shit though. Like lots of set pieces. It just looks fun.
I am pretty excited for it. Yeah.
The multiplayer, I feel they've the shit they've added just seems like it's designed for people that play Call of Duty,
Yeah.
and they're gonna master that shit immediately, and I'm gonna die twice as much now.
Oh, you mean like the movement stuff?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
you can dive and twist and like re-aim all in the same motion.
I already don't do the sprint to dive thing that everyone does. And now you're gonna be like, you can do this in every direction. I'm like, dude, I don't do it in forward direction. You think I'm gonna be doing it sideways?
People are gonna be flying across the map
It's gonna be
shooting
nuts.
us,
Yeah,
and I'm gonna
it's gonna be
die. And it's
fucking
like
crazy.
I'm gonna yell at the screen more than normal.
I'm too old to learn new mechanics like that. Don't add things like that to my shooters. There's no way I'll figure them out. My fingers don't work that way anymore.
No, I just want to point my gun and shoot people.
I will be playing the multiplayer, but I fully expect I'm bad at multiplayer shooters to begin with. I'm gonna get owned badly, but
Be right there with you,
yeah.
Jeff. We'll be bad together.
Sure.
Ubisoft had their showcase. We talked about Star Wars Outlaws. That game looks a lot of fun. It's kind of funny, and I'm sure that the universe that they've created for this is way smaller. But their animation system had you like leaving the planet and going into space all in one. So like coming off of something like Starfield, where it's like, all right, I want to go to space, and
It's
then
like
there's a loading screen.
loading
to
screen.
space.
Yeah.
And then there's a loading screen to go back into a planet. And here it's all seamless. Like I'm sure there's loading going on, but their animation just like it looks fantastic. Like so you can jump from the planet surface into your ship, go into space, get in a dogfight in space, relay some communications with another spaceship, jump to hyperspace, go to a different planet, and then when you get to that planet, you like pick where you want to land, and the animation just pulls you through the atmosphere into where you dock. It looks super cool, but it probably doesn't have hundreds or even thousands of planets like Starfield does. It's probably going to be like 5 or 10 that you can go to. I do wish we'd get away from visiting Tatooine and all the fucking time. They put that in everything, but it kind of looks cool that you're playing like a smuggler type role, so no Jedi. In fact, it's what, like probably after A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back era. So there's going to be like the Empire and Jabba's around, but you're not going to see like a bunch of Jedi running around with lightsabers and stuff. So neat way to approach a Star Wars game, I think. Yeah. And then the other thing that Ubisoft showed was Assassin's Creed Shadows. Did you get a chance to see that, Tony?
That would be my second most excited game for this fall now. That game looks fantastic.
Looks really cool.
It looks really, really good. I don't.
Two very different styles of play with your two lead characters.
Yeah, like one very, very militant and I'm in an army and killing shit, and the other one from the shadows. I wonder how they blend them together. I hope that both work really well. But then, I feel like Assassin's Creed has like figured out both of these. Because if you look at the last couple of games, like the last one was very focused on, sneaking and hiding and picking your spots, and then the one before that, Valhalla, very focused on combat and, you as a leader of a group of people who can fight in a battle. I don't know. It'll be interesting.
You blend them together. They didn't show it, so I don't know if it's even an option. But I do wonder if, like, you as the player can choose like how you want to approach the mission at hand.
I'm going to go into this mission as this character,
yeah,
or this one, and like have a completely different experience with them.
Yep.
That would be cool.
like so in the gameplay reveal that they showed, they didn't really kind of show that piece, but they're like, oh, we're gonna do this thing, and so like they show the assassin type character. She's using her grappling hook and running across rooftops and stuff. I do wonder if you could play as the samurai and just go through the front door and kill everyone.
Right. That would
Be cool.
like having the same option in the same two missions, where one where you bypass everybody, the other one where you had to kill them all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that game looks great.
I mean, it's an era that has been missed by Assassin's Creed for a long time.
Yeah.
Kind of surprisingly, because it works so well. It's also topical with the whole Shogun show being out right now.
And it looks distinctive from like Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah.
Which when we played it 3 years ago or so, was like this is Assassin's Creed Japan.
Yep.
But they found a way to make it distinctive, so that's cool. The only other thing, two other things, I guess, out of the Ubisoft showcase, they showed Skull and Bones again.
Why? Let that game die. Let it die.
40,000th time in a row.
Bury the skull and bones in the tomb where it belongs and leave it there.
And they reintroduced Sands of Time.
This game has been in development since the beginning of the Sands of Time, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Do you remember the date they gave, Jeff?
For the new one, like the new date?
Yeah, the new date.
I think they just said 2026.
2026.
Yeah.
So
this is like, it has like the tortured development cycle of Metroid Prime, but like not a new game. It's just for remaking it. Fucking like it should be a fucking 12-month turnaround or something on this. Like, what are you doing, dude?
And this new reveal trailer didn't show anything. It was just like a candle on a table.
We just started. We threw everything out. We're starting from scratch a third time. Dude, like, when that comes out, and apparently, like, they're holding on to this dream, like, that better be, like, a radically, like, different game than the original, because, like, if it's just the original game with, like, a couple touches here and there and new graphics, like, what the fuck took you so long, dude? What is going on?
7 years. Like, that's insane.
We were too busy sexually harassing our developers.
Like, there better be new levels. There better be like whole new levels and areas and shit, and then whatever. Like, what the fuck, dude?
Wild on that one. I wonder. So the reason Skull and Bones came out is because they were doing. Ubisoft does this with a lot of their studios, where they have different studios all over the world working on all their games. And I guess their studio in Singapore gets government funding.
Yeah.
But they couldn't cancel the game because they got that government funding. So it had to come out.
It's a mistake.
And I just wonder, like, is this trapped in something like that? They have to release Sands of Time at some point. They don't know how to do it, but they're stuck because the money is tied up, and they legally have to get it out the door.
The Persian government has invested so much.
Yeah. And final thing, because this was the day after, they showed off gameplay of Dragon Age. What do you call it, Tony?
Bride Protector.
Bride Protector. All right. And I don't remember it. They showed it at the Xbox Showcase too, but it wasn't gameplay. And I don't remember if that was the character trailer that everybody got up in arms about, or if that was earlier last week. But this was actual gameplay that they showed on Tuesday. And it looks good.
Yeah. And it's surprisingly actually coming this fall,
Yeah.
miraculously. So it doesn't seem to be quite because the series originally started as like the CRPG that
Yeah.
and they kind of moved more actiony as it's gone along, and now it seems to be like you just control your one character. You have a party of folks around you, but you're just in charge of your one dude.
Yeah, it looks very, very Mass Effect in that regard. Specifically like Mass Effect 2, I guess.
Yeah.
There's like synergy attacks and
Yeah, there's been a lot of Mass Effect. I mean, not surprisingly, given that it's their other series and it's been wildly successful, and maybe they go to those themes when they're developing the game to make it more similar to that. But I don't know. I've seen a lot of weird articles saying like they're selling out or they're like going against the principles of Dragon Age to make it more Mass Effecty. I don't understand that stuff. Like if the gameplay works in that way, who cares?
If it's fun, yeah, whatever. But
that's all I care about. Is it fun? Is it good?
I
If it's
thought it
not
was
fun, then
weird.
that's a problem.
If you had gameplay, what was that trailer though? Like
I think it was their character trailer, right? Like so
that's
we got this.
stupid.
We got this.
It looks bad. Like I was like, yeah. Just because I know it's an RPG that's coming out this year, oh yeah, cool, I'll play it. But like that trailer was bad, dude. It made it look like a fucking mobile game or some fucking bullshit. Like, what is this? Have some confidence in your fucking gameplay, guys. That's what we want to see. I don't want to see the fucking cutscenes and people talking and shit. Show the games.
Yeah.
Because what I saw, it looked okay.
I fully agree with that. I do like. I mean, everybody like has like their Assassin's Creed, which had just showed gameplay as well. Their first trailer for that, it was also it was their cinematic trailer. Like that seems to be like, hey, we're reintroducing this thing. Here's Dragon Age Bride Protector. Here's the characters.
Yeah, but this is a game that's coming out soon.
On the other hand, when you're showing off a new Assassin's Creed game, like the last bunch of Assassin's Creed games have all been fantastic.
Yes.
We haven't heard from the studio in ages. Their last game was
not
horrible. So maybe you kind of hope for more. Like
and Dragon Age it's been a decade almost. 9 years.
Yeah.
9 years since Inquisition. So yeah, there's just some questions.
Right. And you need to prove to me that your game is good. Like maybe Ubisoft doesn't have to do that for Assassin's Creed.
Right. The vibe I got from the trailer was they watched that Dungeons and Dragons movie.
Yeah.
Which I liked. I thought that was a fun movie.
Not quite as good as the Mario movie, but close.
Yeah. I am totally into a game that has that vibe. I just feel
absolutely.
That trailer is just
it wasn't great.
Good, needed some in 5 seconds of gameplay here and there, like cut to gameplay, and then show your next character. Like show your character, like introduce the character, then show them like in action, like what they could do. Like
that's kind of it. I don't care who the characters are at all. Like it's been ages. I can't remember any of the characters from the last game because it's been so long.
There are people that are like, "Oh, Varric, he's great." Like I don't remember Varric.
I remember him because I played it recently.
Right.
But yeah.
I don't know. I thought the gameplay they did show in the Dragon Age thing looked fun. I'm way more excited for that game than I was a week ago. So yeah, and it coming this year.
Yeah.
Very helpful.
Also did not give a date.
It was good.
I think Tony, you said it earlier after maybe it was after the Dragon Age thing that like you feel way more confident about where we're at game wise.
Oh, yeah.
I'm saying.
I mean, there was like nothing confirmed, nothing you could get excited about for this fall. But now there's stuff. It's nice to have stuff and like names attached to the stuff and dates, and makes me feel a lot better. Last fall though, it kind of looked stacked when we were coming in. Like it still I think looks lighter than last fall, but there's hope at least.
Hey,
And
man,
2025 looks fantastic. So
if this fall holds, I'm gonna get to play the new Call of Duty. I'm gonna get to play Avowed. I'm gonna get to play Dragon Age. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be a good fall. And we don't know what the fuck is up with Nintendo because they didn't. They don't. They're too good for not E3.
Right.
Like they gotta have something for the back half of the year.
Well, they're waiting for the new console launch. They got to figure their next big games are all for that, and they haven't made enough
So you
units
think
for
it's
the new
just that's
console
it?
to launch yet.
There's got to be something.
do they squirt out Metroid Prime 4
Just for Jeff.
at the end of the Switch life cycle?
I honestly feel like that would make almost more sense than launching with it on the next because they've had more success with it. You know, that new game is the best success with it yet, but it just feels like that's not a console launching game. That's not your killer app. I don't know, but
Also, a completely different style of Metroid than what Dread was.
yeah,
It's like, are people going to be on board for first-person Metroid?
it should. They know what's good for them. But yeah, like it's. And also, like, even if it was like a last big game on the Switch, that's fine. They do that all the time. They do that with Zelda a lot. Like,
Yeah.
it ended the GameCube and it carried over to the Wii. It ended the Wii U and carried over to the Switch. So they could easily just put Metroid Prime out on both and whatever, you know.
And if they do the smart thing and the
Do we
Switch,
believe it's a game?
no.
I don't know.
I mean, they did put they did put the Metroid Prime Studio on it, right?
They
Retro.
did after it was originally, I think Bandai.
Yeah, they were working on it.
Yeah, and
I think you could release it this fall, Jeff, and then Switch 2 comes out March, April next year. Then, like, if they do the smart thing and allow you to play Switch games on whatever the Switch 2 turns out to be, and they do have a history of doing at least one generation of backwards compatibility, you could be like, hey, Metroid Prime 4 now plays better on the Switch 2.
Yeah.
And drop a new Mario.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope that they have a showcase soon. I'd like to know what's coming for Nintendo.
There's gotta be something.
They'll
more
give
interesting.
something, and like I think Metroid is a nice. They're not going to launch one of their huge games for this fall. Not to say that Metroid is not huge, Jeff.
I think
it's
Metroid's
less
the
popular.
right. I think it's the
It's-
right size one,
yes.
maybe for this fall.
Yes,
Like,
it's less
you know.
popular than Zelda or
That's what I'm
Mario,
saying. Yeah.
which would be something they'd want to lead off a new console with. So, if they were to launch something this fall, I think Metroid would be a good fit.
Well, hopefully they did say they'd have something in June, so it's wild, but June is almost half over now. So
God,
we're approaching it soon. So hopefully we'll know what's coming for Nintendo. I think that was it for showcase stuff. I'm with you guys though. I'm happy with where 2024 is shaped up.
yeah.
And maybe it's because like it's been so
It's been pretty slow.
light that it's like these like 5, 6, 7 games. It's like yes. It's
Oh,
like,
man.
Even like now, when I'm looking at the next couple of months, there's still like nothing until late August.
yeah.
It's like, how do I get to the end of August?
Dude, there's Elden Ring. It'll bring you right to the end of August. You'll be fine.
Elden Ring will bring me right back to pain and misery.
Like my year starts 1 week from now. We're good. I'm set. 1
Good
week
for
from
you.
now. Yeah.
So, Tony, how far? Like we both bought Elden Ring. How far did you actually make it?
I made like an hour in, and then I was like, I can't. I hate this. I hate how this plays. I hate everything about it.
Chris made
Yeah.
it further than you, but
Yeah, I'm sure he
trust me,
did.
Chris did not make it far at all. He
No,
kind of wandered around the opening area.
wandered around the opening
You
area.
did some
I got
caves and
lost in
shit.
a different.
I,
Yeah, I
I
did
just
a
want
couple
you to know,
caves.
Jeff, though, I bought that game for you. I wanted to try it. I spent money on this game. The developer made money because of you. It's your
I
fault.
mean, that's great. You get no credit. You get no
Jeff's
credit
fault.
because you didn't get anywhere. But,
I don't want any credit. Like, I was trying this out for you. So, one day when you're
you
like,
don't get credit.
Tony has never done anything for me. Well, you know what Tony did for you? He bought Elden
I'm not
Ring.
giving you credit
That's how
for that.
much I
'Cause
like you.
just buying a game and playing it for 30 minutes doesn't give me, I'm not going to give you credit.
Hey, he played it for 60. He got out to that guy on the horse outside the
That's
cave,
right.
and
I
that guy
got past that
stomped
guy.
on him.
I
And,
went around him a couple of times. I fought him once and he killed me. And I went around him a couple times.
oh, yeah, I hate that guy. Fortunately, Jeff was there. No, don't fight him. Like, you're not supposed to fight him. Like, but he's there. He's an enemy. Like, you
Right.
want to fight the enemy. No, he's
Yeah.
just gonna stomp on you.
Oh, you get to fight him. I mean, you can't.
If you're highly skilled, I'm sure you could beat him.
Mr.
If
Too
you're-
Fresh
Yeah.
was supposed to fight him. Our friend from back in the day, Mr. Too Fresh. He spent 3 hours, like a 3-hour battle against the guy.
He beat him, didn't he?
Yeah, and I was like, he's like, we were like talking about how like we were having a conversation in this other group chat about how like it's interesting how like the game will do things like that thing is there right there to teach you, like right at the beginning of the game to teach you, hey, you're not ready for certain things. And he's like, I didn't realize that. He's like, I just went to, like, and God bless him because I don't know how you could be good enough to fight that big old horse guy right at the beginning because he's fucking destroy you. It's something that it's fun to go back to later when you're way more powerful and just be like whoop his ass and be like, see. But no, there's people out there who have done it.
That's hysterical.
He said 3 hours.
Also, I mean, with Miyazaki, that's the guy, right?
Yeah.
The Elden Ring guy. I think he, and translation and all that doesn't really come across, but he did say that they still have room to go to make the game more understandable, more accessible for players.
Oh, he didn't just say get good.
No, like
I saw that. It was it's
and I think it makes sense, right? Like he's not saying he wants to tone down his difficulty, but I think he's saying there's still a way for him to get better at teaching players how to engage with the world. So I do think can be difficult with it. Like I'm just not good at those types of games, and I get frustrated because I'm not making the advancement that I feel I should be making.
You were doing fine. You shouldn't have dropped it.
Yeah. Well, I think that's right. Like you're like, no, this is exactly, you're fine. You're doing right. Like you're getting it's like, I want to be further along than where
it's
I'm
not.
at.
It's a long game. I think it's interesting that he said that, and I think it's evident that they are striving for that because like Elden Ring advancements to making their games more accessible than like Dark Souls 3 or Sekiro, like their previous games. So like even like there's things I'm noticing this time. There's like quest lines and shit that I've never noticed before. Like this is kind of like a random sideways tangent, but like there was a guy I ran into playing my new character. And he was like, "Hey, could you please go like clear out this fort to the southeast of us called Fort Hate? These bad guys have taken it, and I want it back." And I'm like, "I don't know how I've played this game 10 times. I've never talked to this guy. I've gone and cleared out and killed everything in that fort before, right? But I wasn't doing it as a quest for him." And so, but I was like, "That's interesting. Well, I'm gonna go do it for him, and then go back and talk to him." And so I did that, and it changed like the game in a way I've never seen before because I had killed everything in that fort before. It didn't change anything. When I went back to talk to him, like he put his boys back in the fort, so like it's like a friendly allied fort for me now. I was like, I have never seen this, And so this is a game I played 10 times, and it's like it's interesting to me that like the game could still be enigmatic like that to me, like where you still kind of discover like really basic shit like so many times into it. I don't want their games to ever lose their mystery, but I'm totally fine with them trying to figure out ways to make it more accessible to more and more people. And I think Elden Ring goes a long way towards that. I would not be opposed to them adding, difficulty slider or something like. And there's things in this game in Elden Ring that like can help with the difficulty, but like whatever they have to do to get more people on board, I'm fine with it. And I think they are striving for that.
Yeah, I think the worlds they create are fantastical.
Dude,
like
you haven't seen the half of it.
Yeah, and they're
incredible.
Their character monster designs, which I've seen a lot of their stuff. I watched like tons of video outside of that, like wonderful stuff. But like I just don't have the patience to explore it the way that you and others do. And I do. I hope that at some point they find a way to make it so that I can explore their world at my level as opposed to their level.
I think that's the problem that I have more than anything. Like, I don't have time to sit and figure everything out. Like this like Elden Ring would be the only game I would play for an entire year if that were like, and I don't have like the patience to sit down and focus on one game for an entire year like that.
It's tough though, because I do think if they did like standard Ubisoft open world game where it was just like pointers telling you everything, and like you get to look at a list of missions and what your objectives are, I just feel like it loses some of like what makes the games really special. And there's a balance you have to try to find with it. And I feel like, for me anyways, Elden Ring does, but I find it interesting that the director, he was even like, yeah, well, maybe we could do better. So
that's great. Like, I'm glad that he's still like, hey, I can improve.
He says all sorts of crazy things, though. He said the Elden Ring is like 30 hours long. You're like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, yeah, if you're on New Game Plus, like, and like your character's leveled up and you know everywhere to go, but otherwise you're talking 120, 30 hours minimum, dude. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, because I put 8-10 hours in, Jeff, and like you were like, you have not scratched, done nothing in this game. You're still in the opening area, and it's like, okay, so like we're looking at like 100 hours minimum.
The area that you were in, my very first time playing the game, like remember you get to the castle, and I was like, that's the first level for you.
Yeah.
For me to get through that castle, it took like 30 plus hours. Now, when I start a brand new character like I have now, I'm like 10 hours in with this new character. I'm well past that. But again, I know everything. Yeah, I know everything. I'm like, I go here to get this, I go here to get that. So yeah, it's like, yeah, maybe, but there's no way I could beat that game in 30 hours with that character because he's too weak. Like, it's not happening. Anyways, Elden Ring. Are you guys excited for a whole year of Elden Ring talk again?
I am happy to hear you happy about games, and like I'm always fascinated to hear like the new shit that's going on in Elden Ring. It's just it's like I don't get it. It's like somebody's speaking a foreign language to me. It's like I kind of understand it because I understand fantasy stuff, but it's like so far different from like the fantasy stuff that I'm used to kind of playing.
It's mystery exploration.
But Jeff, you're gonna have a good at least month plus before we have anything else to talk about.
So yeah, there you go.
Yeah. I'm gonna continue to play like old games. So.
Right.
Hey, that's what shit. Me and Tony both played through Fallout 4 from 2014, and it was fun. It was great.
I have a 2014 game to play next, so I think I'm okay.
What?
You're going to be really excited about this. It's called Classified France 44.
Oh, never mind. Chris, dive back into Vampire Survivors. You will not regret it.
Okay.
I'm telling you, dude. There's so much more there, especially if you bought the DLC.
Yeah, I own all the DLC.
You're going to be playing the shit out of that game, man.
Maybe I will. I haven't installed, so I should jump in. I should at least play the Contra stuff that I bought. So
Yeah, absolutely.
um, but we'll have more stuff to talk about next week. Not sure what, because there's nothing new coming out, but we'll be revisiting some old stuff.
Sure, we'll come up with something.
And Jeff we'll have Elden Ring new stuff in about a week and a half. So
Yeah, not for next episode. You'll have me chomping at the bit to get to it.
Maybe I'll play a fun game for Jeff called Ultimate General American Revolution. Who knows?
Oh yeah, that sounds fun.
Actually, we may have the Elden Ring for next episode because I'm not here next week. So
next
perfect.
episode is 2 weeks from now.
Perfect.
Yes.
You heard it here first.
I'm gonna be playing that night, baby.
Yeah. So in 2 weeks we'll be back, and Jeff will have Elden Ring for us, and still trying to figure out how we're going to do our 4th of July drunk episode because 4th of July happens to be the day we would be recording.
Yeah, well, shit. Gather up who's around at 9 o'clock at night or 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah, and sober on the 4th of July.
I'm not gonna be sober. That won't be new.
All right, guys. We will be back in 2 weeks. Jeff, say goodnight.
Good night.